I got a question from a follower. Does flipping your hair over cause you to recede? And I thought I'd answer this because it's a really interesting point. So let me talk a little bit in this video about partings in general and what to understand about where you part your hair. The truth about what's going on around your hairline when it comes to receding, and most importantly, how to preserve the thickness of your hair for as long as possible. So partings are a really interesting point, and there are many people, I call them flippers, who flip their hair from side to side, so maybe they don't have a set parting. If you're blessed with a really symmetrical face, you'll feel quite comfortable with a perfect middle parting. That can work really, really well for you. If you like a middle parting, but you feel as though one side of your face you prefer more than the other, shifting it just slightly off center and making it slightly irregular rather than a perfect straight line can be a really good way of working with that shape. If you're more drawn towards a side parting, it's all about how much volume you want. If you don't want much root lift, it can look a little traditional. So if you like a cooler, kind of slimmer look to your hair, parting it wherever you want on the side and having it straight back will keep things sleeker. Whereas if you flip your hair over, you're always going to get more lift. The reason I call those people as flippers is because when you flip your hair from one side, eventually it gets flat, so they flip it back to the other and it gets more volume. That's a lot of movement on your hairline though, which is why people are concerned that it could be causing receding. Now the truth about your hairline is your hair is always growing and shedding. And so if you're seeing shorter hairs around here, it's probably just your normal hair cycle. But because it's on basically the edge of all of your hair, you see things a lot more. You don't look inside your hair here very much, but whatever's going on around your hairline, we're hyper aware of. Now, typically these areas here tend to be where the quickest turnover of our hair is, and we don't know why. But what that means is you'll always have shorter hairs in this area that won't grow out to the same length as the rest of your hair. This is kind of part of human DNA, human biology. So if this is the case, try not to let this distress you. I will say when it comes to pregnancy and postpartum hair loss, it's really common to have a lot of shedding in this area. And so if that's you, you may feel that you have really short hair around here, but it will tend to soften over time if before you didn't have so much. It's really common that the strands, the follicles around your face have a quicker turnover. So if you have shorter hair around here, the best thing that you can do to work with it rather than fight against it is to have some kind of face framing layers cut in or embrace some kind of fringe or bang. That's going to make these naturally shorter hairs less obvious because you've kind of made them part of your hair design. Do I think that flipping your hair over from side to side is causing you to recede? I don't. I think that what happens is when we flip it, suddenly we're very aware of what's going in these areas. Whereas if you wore your hair in the middle, those areas would be covered. You wouldn't be looking at them in the same way. Lots of friction and lots of roughness on the strands can cause hair loss. So if you're picking at your hair or fiddling with those shorter bits, there's a good chance that you could be making the problem worse, but flipping it alone probably isn't going to be damaging. So when it comes to preserving the thickness of your hair, if that's something that's important to you, there's a few things to consider. The first is to try and be as healthy as possible. So make sure that you're having a diet high in protein, good oils, good fats, and make sure you're not deficient in any kind of minerals. If you're concerned, get some blood work done and a hormone panel, because that's going to really help for you to know exactly what's going on inside your body. Takes away all the guesswork. It's also really important to make sure the hair on your head that's already grown out is as healthy as possible. That's where I've got heaps of other videos that go into more detail about how to protect your hair from damage and make it healthier. That's going to make your hair feel thicker because you're going to have more healthy, vibrant strands on your head at any one time.